Hello, welcome to the studio. Today I'm working on a series of small landscape prints, some dry points that I've made at the local print studio. They actually came out of the press really well and I really liked them, which can be a little bit dangerous because I never quite know what to do and you always get a little bit afraid of adding anything extra. So I've just been taking it easy, adding very small different things to each piece. If you like the video, then please do click like, subscribe to the channel, and there's lots more of my work and my self-paced video courses that you can buy at my website ruthander.co.uk. I've just released Landscape Impressions, which is my new self-paced video course which guides you through making beautiful atmospheric landscapes in the home print studio. So if you're interested in that, pop along to ruthander.co.uk. So these are the 6 pieces of this series that I need to work on. So I actually really love these as they came out of the press, which it doesn't always happen. They have monoprint on, so just rolled ink straight onto the dry point plate and took a bit off as well. They've got collage on, so this is a piece of collage. So when it goes through the press like this and the glue is stuck basically by the pressure of the press, that's called sheen collage. So these, and this is as well. Here. So these already have a little bit of collage on them. I quite like putting them through a press with monoprint and collage and dry point, and you in one go, you get lots already in there. So I've been having a look at these, and like I say, I don't want to ruin them. I actually really like them as they are. So it's probably just going to be very small things just added to them. So I'm going to add some dark pieces here on the fields as collage. On this one, I'm not quite sure what to do this one. It might get a piece of collage into it, and this one as well. So I'm going to start with collage, and I shall probably also then be adding just some really light highlights, and I might also add some line work, probably orange or red to complement some of these colours, and I'm going to lighten up this piece here. So some very small little adjustments, and we'll see how we go. So what I used to collage is nori paste or rice paste, and this is the bottle that I found. I can't always find these big bottles. I grabbed a couple when I found them in a stationery shop once, but you can get smaller yellow bottles usually. You can certainly get them from Intaglio printmakers. Intaglio printmaker. And they're usually called nori paste rather than rice paste. But it's all the same stuff. It's quite starchy, which I like. So it's not too wet. It's not like PVA, which is really, really quite wet, or acrylic medium, which is wet as well, because those things tend to wrinkle your tissue paper. Now I'm just using my I have loads of these cardboard spatulas, and I just tend to squeeze a little bit out. You really don't need very much, and then you can put it on either your tissue paper or your surface. And I don't really mind about going over the edges very much either, because this dries, it's quite starchy and it dries completely clear and non-shiny as well, which I really like. I do my usual thing of just kind of allowing it to go over the edge a little bit because I like that. So what you can do is just get a little bit of scrap paper and just press down with the fist just to make sure it's got wrinkles out. And then what I tend to do, in fact what I'll do here is I will pop it under my surface. There we go, and that will keep it flat as it dries. So I've been umming and ahhing about how to get this very small amount of bright yellow in this area here on some of them. So there's a couple of options. I could roll out some yellow ink, a small amount, and then put the print over like that and press onto the back. So I might still do that. I don't know if you can see there, but I've actually already put this up against a window and drawn on the back where the lines are, basically. The difficulty with that is that you might get ink in other bits of the print that you don't want it to go. So the other option is to just literally just almost use the roller like a drawing tool, and just sort of press down almost as one line onto the picture. So I'm going to try that because I feel like it's probably going to be a little bit more precise. So I've rolled out some yellow here. I've got one brighter yellow and one with a bit more white in it. So it's lemon yellow with a bit of white. And I think I'm going to start with this one here. And I've got this quite cute little roller, which I hope is not actually very good for making even blocks of colour, because it's not that great. But what you can, obviously it's pretty small, so you can be quite precise about where you put lines. So let's give this a go. If it's not working very well, I will try the other technique. Okay, so I'm just going to do this by eye, and I'm just going to literally place it down and press down. Okay, so I quite like that. It's relatively precise, and it kind of looks a little bit like sunlight on fields as well. So what I'm going to have to do when this is dry is just probably redraw those dry point lines back in at some point, so that it actually looks a bit like field. Let's have one more go along here. So I'm not rolling it, I'm just pressing down. There we go. Right. So that's kind of looking kind of the way I want it to, so that's good. So the other thing that I often add to my work, especially I just want to do something quite little, I draw into them. So I've got my box of drawing things here. So often I've got Posca pens, I've got some watercolour pencils, I've got just normal pencils, I've got a bit of charcoal. What else do I have in here? Yeah, I've got some gel pens. I've got various things that I sometimes use. And I don't think it's cheating. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I make prints and then I work into them. So whether that's monoprint or drawing or anything like that, it's whatever the piece needs. So I really don't see it as cheating. What I'd like to do is add some. This is a really nice colour. Actually, no, I'm going to go for this one. Both of these are nice purple colours. I'm going to add a bit of purple into some of these fields, just to kind of contrast against this yellowy ochre colour. Actually, I'm not going to put it on that. I'm going to put it on that one, I think. And I'm going to do it really quite subtly, so you probably almost won't pick up on it straight away when you look at it. And it's partly to differentiate it so that it sits back from the foreground, but also I'm hoping that the purple will sort of make the other colours sing out, these sort of yellowy greens. I'm going to add some to this one as well. So I've already got some yellow in here. So this should contrast with it, because purple is the complementary colour of yellow. And actually, where I'm putting it on top of the yellow, it's kind of merging and kind of going a bit grey. So I think just that little subtle bit of purple on the top there. So that's my purple added. I thought I might also, I feel like this needs something quite dark on it. And even though I put this quite dark bit of red on, I think I'm going to add some charcoal, some black. I like the kind of velvetiness of charcoal. I'm just going to see what a line would do. And you can make thin lines or thick lines. So that line has changed quite considerably, just going along there. And I feel like it's, you know, that lovely soft line. This piece hasn't got any of that at the moment. So adding that in and adding like a really dark thing as well is also worth doing for a bit of tonal contrast. What else do I want to do? Now I wanted to add probably some orange line, I think, some sort of deep orange. I've got these lovely Posca pens. So I'm just considering, let's try putting some on this one to start with. Now I quite like the really thick pen, actually. It can do some really interesting things, a bit like the charcoal. It will go thin and thick as you want. So I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm just going to add this kind of motif that I quite like. It's almost like grasses growing here. And I'm going over the edge a little bit to get that brightness as well. And I might even put a line in here, a horizontal line, kind of almost implying a fence, which there often is in English countryside. You get this sort of wildness, and then you also get a kind of hemmed in, fenced in kind of thing. So I quite like that. I might do something similar here as well. Yeah, okay. Let's have a go. So I'm just going to shake the pen actually, and then just make sure that the ink is coming through. Yeah, okay. So you can make this quite thin because you can just use like the end of the pen, or you can go quite thick. Quite like the softness of the tip as well. And I think I will add in some of the thin, which is a bit more definite, less soft tip. What I quite like doing is holding the pen just at the top so there's less control as well. So that colour has just made everything else jump out, which is really nice. And I think I'm going to use that thin pen again. I might go for this side.